Congratulations and welcome to the class of 2027 and the fabulous new transferred students.
Traveler, there is no path. The path is made by walking.
You're a class of far-ranging talents and varied experiences, entering a university that really is second to none in offerings and creativity.
You belong here. Believe that you belong.
Welcome to the 133rd Convocation of Stanford University. As is our tradition, we pause to acknowledge the land on which we stand and the peoples who steward it. I invite you to rise and remain standing as you are able throughout the land acknowledgement and the invocation to follow. I'm now honored to introduce Antonio Vega, class of 2026.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Antonio Vega, and I'm from the Pascuayaqui tribe of Arizona. As part of the class of 2026, it is my honor to give you the land acknowledgement for this year's convocation. Stanford sits on the ancestral land of the Muwekma Ohlone tribe. This land was and continues to be of great importance to the Ohlone people. Consistent with our values of community and inclusion, it is our duty to acknowledge, honor, and make visible Stanford's relationship with Native peoples. Thank you.
Let us be together. Beneath the shade of these tall trees, we pause to mark the beginning of our Stanford journey. Having arrived through our own individual sojourns, today we commit to walking the path forward together. Bound by our common quest for knowledge that transforms, ideas that innovate, and communities that make a difference, we come together as one. In the days to come, may we meet one another with generosity of spirit and compassionate curiosity, seeking to listen as much or more than we speak, seeking to give as much or more than we receive, and seeking to be wrong, yes, as much or more than we are right. For our missed marks are our best lessons. And above all else, may we greet this new adventure with open hearts and outstretched arms as we nurture a community marked by kindness, honesty, integrity, and respect. More than the tests we take or the grades we achieve, beyond the endless lists of accomplishments that will fill our resumes, it is the relationships we cultivate that truly matter. So take a moment. Look around. I mean it. Go ahead. You all got it right there. Look around, forward, backward. You too on the dais. Look around. I want you to see this beautiful community that is Stanford. And shout out to all the families who are here as well. Look around. Go ahead. See this beautiful, beautiful, beloved community that is here together. Give yourself applause. Friends, this journey will be what it will be because of us. Stanford is Stanford because of us, but only together. In the end, it is how we treat one another and ourselves that determine if we will flourish or if we will fail. So may we choose to flourish. Amen. You may be seated. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the Dean of Admissions and Financial Aid, Richard H. Shaw.
President Soller, Dean and Professor of Law and Provost Designate Martinez, trustees, faculty, staff, family, and friends. I am so excited to be with you today to celebrate this amazing moment. Congratulations and welcome to the class of 2027 and the fabulous new transferred students. Well, some of you may recall how I like to begin my remarks. And what a better place than this beautiful amphitheater to bring our voices together. Parents, family, and friends, especially, this includes you. So are you ready? Yeah. Then repeat after me. Go Stanford! Go Stanford! Go Cardinal! Go! Wow, great job. Perfect. Thank you, parents. You really came out this time. I expected nothing less. We are now officially part of the Stanford family, and I'm so excited to share more about the incoming students assembled here today. Let me begin with a few statistics. There are 1,705 first-year students and 58 transfers matriculating today. You're joining us from 49 states. We miss you, North Dakota. And 76 countries. 13.5% of you are international students, yes? 88 unique languages or other than English are spoken in your homes. For our first-year students, you attended 1,242 secondary schools. And for our transfer students, you're transferring from 55 colleges and universities from 22 states. 23 of those institutions are community colleges. And 21% of you are among the first in your families to attend a four-year university. And also among you are 9 military veterans, and we salute you. Well, I hope hearing these statistics give you a sense of the cross-section of the world that is right here, in this amphitheater. In your applications, we learned about your special part of the global community, and we imagined how you would bring the specialness to Stanford. You shared with us your story, your humanity, and your openness and willingness to listen. Where we saw that readiness to listen and support each other most was in the application essay that asked you to write a letter to your future roommate. We were so inspired by the compassion and excitement you poured into these hypothetical letters. Many of you described the magical experience of discovering another person. One of you wrote, "I would love to get to know you because I am convinced there is magic in any human being." While I dream of exploring the globe, another one of you wrote, "I'm more excited about the worlds we will bring to our own dorm room." Yet another one of you added, "To me, the greatest adventure is getting to know another person. I can't wait to get to know you and hear your story." We were similarly inspired by pledges of support from each other. One of you wrote, "If you need to pour your heart out, lay it all out to me. We're in this together." And another one of you vowed, "Know that I will give advice when you need it, respect you, and stand up for you, and be your Stanford sister."
Love it.
"I am here for you," another one of you promised. "My passion for learning will guarantee you a personal listener." In a transfer application, one of our new transfer students reflected powerfully on the definition of family and the support we give to each other as we live and learn together. Within the Somali community, you wrote, "Family is the heart of our culture. If one person is hurting, we all hurt. If a door closes in your life, there's a neighborly welcome waiting across the street. Family is who shows up for you on your darkest days and laughs with you during your happiest moments. And when you find them, you keep them close." The students who wrote these quotes, they are your roommates, your classmates, your teammates, your family. During your time at Stanford, you will be presented with countless opportunities to engage with new people and new perspectives. And let's harness that opportunity. As you so beautifully wrote in your applications, let's discover one another as human beings. Let's allow others to help us see the world through different lenses. Let's be a family and keep each other close. Yes, you are all individually exceptional, but it is your collective capacity to transform our world that inspires me. You're going to value and nurture one another. You're going to come together to conceive of ideas and solutions that can only be borne out by collaboration and conversation. There is humanity and magic that I'm excited for you to discover in each other as you begin your Stanford adventure. I would like to end with one more statistic. Actually, a statistic that one of you put in your letter to your roommate. You wrote, "I read somewhere that the probability of two random people meeting each other in the world is 0.00487. Amazing that we are about to defy those odds, isn't it?" My closing thoughts. While the odds of ending up at Stanford may be low, the odds of happening to meet one another are even lower. Let's celebrate the specialness of being here with each other. I thank you, and I want to welcome you again to Stanford! It now gives me great pleasure to deliver the class of 2027 and new transfers to the undergraduate schools, and I welcome to the podium the Vice Provost for Undergraduate Education and Professor of Physics, Sarah Church.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Shaw, for bringing such thoughtful and accomplished new students into the Stanford community. So as Stanford's Vice Provost for Undergraduate Education, I'm delighted to welcome the transfer students of the class of 2025 and 2026 and the first-year class of 2027 into Stanford University. It gives me great pleasure to be able to introduce you to the first pages of the next remarkable chapter of your academic journey. So, you had a good look around earlier. So, throughout this amphitheater, there are young scholars from all corners of the world, as you heard, and that includes you. In your first year, you'll be meeting and learning from one another in college courses, in your writing courses, in introductory seminars and language courses. You'll be getting to know your peers, you'll be getting to know them better in late night study groups. You're going to cross paths with them in your neighborhood. And of course, you're going to discover new friends who will eagerly join you in pursuing perhaps a Cardinal Service Initiative, an undergraduate research project, or a study away experience. So I have a favor to ask of you. I want you to look out for one another. Be there when your new Stanford friends reach out for support and help guide each other to important resources. That's the very definition of community. You're going to be there to remind one another, especially when it's most important, that this isn't a place where you need to change who you are to fit in. You arrived here by simply being you. And indeed, this is a community where each of you can and will find, and occasionally with a bit of guidance, a true sense of belonging and academic well-being just by being your authentic self. And so because of that, while you and your families may understandably be excited that Stanford chose you and you're here today, I hope you're clear how thrilled we are that you chose us. I trust that you decided to attend Stanford in part because of the extraordinary liberal education the university offers. One that's designed to help you think critically, to challenge your assumptions, and to enable you to pursue the full extent of your intellectual curiosity. A liberal education offers you the space, and we will gently push you to stretch yourself and to explore new intellectual and social terrain as your identity continues to evolve. Of course, part of a liberal education is engaging at times with others with whom you disagree. You may find during your time at Stanford that your deeply held beliefs and world ideologies are challenged by others. A liberal education, both within and outside the classroom, invites you not only to define and strengthen your own passions and convictions, but also to open yourself up to understanding the perspectives of others, even when you find yourself at odds. Learning to listen thoughtfully is as important a skill as any other you'll learn here. So I encourage you to embrace the opportunity to get comfortable with occasionally being uncomfortable, because doing so will help you to learn and grow immeasurably. So speaking as a member of Stanford's faculty, I hope you'll invite your professors to come along with you on your academic journey. Contribute your ideas in class. Ask questions. We love your questions. Share your ideas, your insights with us, as well as anything that concerns you. This is a community that is designed to support you, especially when you need it most. Now, the courses that we faculty teach are designed to challenge you, and so there will certainly come a time when you encounter academic difficulty. And I want you to believe me that this happens to all students. It happened to me when I was in your position. So I was a first-gen student. In fact, it's 40 years this week that I was dropped off at college, so I don't remember much about it. But I do appreciate how difficult the transition can be for those of you who don't know what to expect, because your family, like mine, may not have had that lived experience to share with you. And that was my experience at Cambridge University. And that was a place where I also struggled academically at the beginning, until I didn't, because I was able to find support once I learned how to ask for it. So I encourage you to do the same if and when it's needed. So something else I hope you'll discover at Stanford as part of your academic journey is that success is not always about knowing the answer, finishing first, or having everything figured out before you've even got started. Talk to most adults who are well beyond their youth, like me, and you're going to find plenty of us are still figuring things out. The best success comes from living each day with purpose and persistence as you navigate and discover ways to relish the twists and turns you're going to take along this tremendously scenic, personally fulfilling, but sometimes puzzling journey. So my last words of advice to you as new students, as you chart your Stanford adventure, are to pace yourself. So one of the most valuable gifts you can give yourself and others is your time. Use it to explore. Be curious. Use it to sleep. Take the opportunity to reflect on what you care about most as you embrace this incredible experience. So while there are decisions to be made at some point about majors and internships and future careers and what to sign up with and what you want to get involved in, I'm not going to be the first to tell you that you have plenty of time. So for now, take a deep breath, and family members take a deep breath too, and be here, in this moment, with your loved ones. The rest will get sorted out in due time. So with that, be well, be safe, and be open to what comes. So now it gives me great pleasure to introduce a wonderful Stanford colleague who's going to be central to your undergraduate experience, Senior Associate Vice Provost and Dean of Students, Mona Hicks. Hey. Hey! Class of 2027 and transfers, I see you. We are so happy that you are here and honored that we get to accompany you on this journey ahead. Finally, to prepare for my remarks, I did some research. I watched 4 seasons of Grownish. I was obsessed with the twins. The dorm rooms were too damn big, and their fashion drip was too lit for college. Not realistic. But every episode with the dad was in, he cried. And it took all 69 episodes for Zoe Johnston to understand what is important. Realistic. So the message I have for you is actually my own. I would like you to consider 3 things. Number 1, the only thing you need to be excellent at is your learning. Number 2, practice gratitude. It will ground you. And number 3, and most importantly, you belong. Again, the only thing you need to be excellent at is your learning. And in learning, you will fail. Let me repeat that. In learning, you will fail. We did not get to this age or this gray hair because we succeeded. It's because we learned and adapted. Now, on the other hand, there are 3 things at Stanford that are undefeated. Gravity, the internet, and the imposter syndrome. You may try to defy gravity while riding your bike and checking your email at the same time on those roundabouts. But someone is walking around with a high-quality camera on their phone. Remember that. That darn imposter or duck syndrome comes for all of us at one time or another. The duck syndrome, in case you don't know, is when you present to everyone that everything is chill. And underneath the duck, in the duck's case, they are paddling so hard. Inside, you're struggling to stay afloat. But it is okay to not be okay. It's okay to try something new. It's okay to do hard things. It's okay to just be okay. Stanford talks a lot about striving for excellence, and you may hear about it at this event. Excellent this, excellent that. I mean, the weather is excellent. You are Knuff. Again, the only thing that you need to be excellent at is learning. The second thing I invite you to consider is to practice gratitude. Just as we are all grateful to have you in this community, be grateful that you're here. Gratitude is powerful. From a practical standpoint, it shields you from negativity, helps rewire your thinking, reduces stress, improves sleep, boosts self-esteem and performance, and improves relationships. Overthinking is the biggest cause of unhappiness. Trust me, I know. Not only am I the dean of students, but I'm also seeking treatment for being the dean of overthinking. You're stepping into the world's 1% at one of the finest universities in the world. Be grateful for that. Be grateful that you get to share this journey with the people around you, the resources to help you, and people that care about you. In a society that has you counting money, pounds, calories, and steps, be a rebel and count your blessings instead. The third thing, you belong here. Believe that you belong. Community and belonging are the cornerstone of our neighborhoods. Belonging, we want you to feel seen within your communities and feel connected and cared about, accepted, respected, and valued. The best definition of community that I found includes the critical notion that we want you to be empowered, to find fellowship with others, where you can always find a sense of support and welcome, and always be yourself. What Dean Shaw didn't share, that there are 32 new international students, both graduate and undergraduates, who are the only person from their home. You are not alone now. No one is, full stop. Please remember that. In spite of the awkwardness of getting to know new people, you belong. So if you're able, this participation part, acknowledge the person to your left, the other left, and tell them, you belong, honey. Tell them. That's right. Now tell the person to your right, tell them you belong. Now give yourself a round of applause. You did all of that without using demon tongue. So take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. You are a cardinal now. Be a learner. Take the road less traveled and ask for help when you get lost. Practice gratitude. I don't know who said this, but the struggle ends when gratitude begins. You belong here. You have your own neighborhood, child. I did not get my first neighborhood as an adult until I was over 40. Why I have chosen these three things is because although it may be safer to blend in, and although it may seem hard to practice gratitude when things go wrong, and although it can be lonely sometimes, you have to remember
that this is your time to learn and grow. When I first moved here, I kept having to remind people that the cardinal is a tree and not a bird. OMG, you know, like all the time. And what's so ironic is that my grandmother, my big mama, when she passed, I would see cardinals, the bird, in every new place that I would go. So of course, the day I moved in, I saw a cardinal and I knew I was going to be okay. But I digress. I actually wanted to talk to you about eagles. Eagles, where am I going with this? Eagles are among the most majestic and paradoxical birds on earth. They are truly special. For example, they are physically large birds, up to 7 feet wingspan, just pretend. But they're relatively lightweight, on average about 10 to 14 pounds. They're freaking fascinating, okay? While the flight of birds may appear easy and graceful to those of us who are earthbound and sighted, for eagles, turbulence is a source of energy that they use to their advantage. For us, a little atmospheric hiccup, shake an airplane, rattle our nerves, spill our beverages. But research finds that many birds fly directly into turbulence, especially on long migratory journeys. So when you start to feel turbulence in your life, pause, take a deep breath, go outside, and if you're able, look up to the sky and look for a bird among those cardinal trees. And remember, you are meant to go far. You will have turbulence, but you will be okay. Why? Because you are loved, you matter, and you are not alone. So class of 2027 and transfers, welcome home. Your life will never be the same. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Johan Sotelo. Thank you.
Oh. Hello, everybody. How's your day going? Good afternoon, President Saller, Provost Designate Martinez, Vice Provost Church, Dean Shaw, Dean Hicks, faculty, trustees, and most importantly, our newest addition to the Stanford community, first years, transfers, and your families. Let's hear a huge round of applause for our new students. My name is Johan Sotelo, and as a junior from the class of 2025, it is an honor to stand before you today and welcome you to Stanford. You've made it here. Congratulations. Looking out to all of you, I'm reminded of my own excitement, ambition, and let's be honest, a touch of anxiety when I was in your shoes. It's perfectly normal to arrive here with a mixture of emotions and a head full of plans. 2 years ago, that was me, the planner, the overthinker, the one trying to major in everything. But if there's one thing that I've learned that I want to share with you today, is to embrace uncertainty in order to discover your path here at Stanford. Let me tell you, Stanford is a place where you'll not only encounter the unknown, but thrive in it. I've learned this lesson in many ways during the first half of my time here, and I'd like to share a few moments with you. My first experience came from taking an unexpected course in my Frosh fall quarter. Eager to explore, I enrolled in a political science class and data science that intrigued me. A few weeks into the class, I realized I was the only Frosh among 60 students in that class. Initially, that was very intimidating, but instead of feeling discouraged, I decided to challenge myself in an area I knew nothing about. It was hard, let me tell you, but I was actually enjoying myself in that course, but I knew I needed some help. As someone who's always been a bit shy about asking for help, at first, I wasn't sure how to seek out the many resources that Stanford has. I started by visiting my professor during office hours. As it turned out, he was happy to meet me and eager to help. Those meetings became invaluable. I learned so much from my professor in my weekly stops to his office, not just about navigating course material, but about other interesting things he would share with me as well. This experience affirmed what I've come to understand about Stanford faculty. They don't just teach here. They guide, mentor, and inspire. Take advantage of that. Last winter quarter, I went to Madrid, Spain for the first time to study abroad. This new adventure wasn't about learning in the classroom. It was about immersing myself in a culture vastly different from my own. But adjusting to a new environment didn't just happen overnight. In Madrid, I found myself lost more times than I cared to admit. Whether it was using a different healthcare system when I got sick or adapting to a unique academic setting, every day was a lesson in flexibility and open-mindedness. Over time, I became more adaptable, more attentive, and more appreciative of the nuances that make a culture unique. It was in these moments of newness and uncertainty that I found new dimensions of myself. Just as I had to navigate the streets of Madrid and adapt to the Spanish lifestyle, many of you will find yourselves adapting to a whole new culture and way of life here at Stanford. Give yourself time to adjust to Stanford, and I know you will find your footing here, and even come to cherish the little things that make Stanford special. Studying abroad taught me that sometimes the most profound learning and personal growth happens when you step outside your comfort zone and ask for help. Whether it's adapting to your next few years here or exploring opportunities abroad, the journey itself and the support you get along the way is a critical part of your education. And finally, I want to be sure to talk about one of the most remarkable aspects of Stanford, its sense of community. Coming into my Frosh year, like many of you right now, I wondered, will I find my people? Will there be a group where I truly fit in and belong? During my Frosh winter, I discovered Stanford Concert Network, a student group I had never heard about and knew a single member from. But there was something about the energy, the friendship, and the shared passion for music that drew me in. So I embraced the unknown, dove in, and gave it a try. I've gotten to work with agents, contract musical acts, and put on massive concerts right here in Frost Amphitheater. I've always been backstage. This is my first time in the center stage, so I'm a bit nervous, as you can see. Before I knew it, I was not just a member, but also deeply involved in the leadership of the group, making lasting friendships, and collaborating on projects that spoke to my heart. As I look forward to my junior year, I'm thrilled to be serving as the director of a student organization that gets to put on memorable events to the Stanford community. Stanford is a mosaic of experiences, opportunities, and memories waiting to be made. Lean into the unfamiliar, welcome the challenge, embrace the uncertainty, and know that in doing so, you're not only crafting your own unique Stanford narrative, but also embarking on a journey of personal growth. In the words of a Spanish proverb I learned in a cafe in Madrid, Caminante, no hay camino, se hace camino al andar. Traveler, there is no path. The path is made by walking. Class of 2027 and transfers, here's to forging your unique path at Stanford. Welcome to your new home. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the President of Stanford University, Richard Saller.
Thank you, Johan, for that good advice. Let me begin with my own personal warm welcome to the class of 2027 and transfers. You and I, in my first month as president, are getting off to a start in a new adventure. You're a class of far-ranging talents and varied experiences entering a university that really is second to none in offerings and creativity. My main advice to you this afternoon, echoing some of the things that have already been said, is to have the self-confidence to seek out the opportunities offered by Stanford that will contribute to your own personal fulfillment. That fulfillment will take many different paths. And let me explain based on my own experience, both as a student and as a teacher. During the Vietnam War era, I entered the University of Illinois as an engineering major. In the spring of my first year, I took a Roman history course to fulfill an engineering distribution requirement. It was much more interesting than my computer science course, and it prompted me to switch majors to classics and history. That was an impulsive and naive move that turned out, surprisingly, to be extraordinarily fortunate. I'll be forever grateful to my parents and my teachers for the support that they gave me through this unconventional move. My suggestion for you is that whatever major you choose, use your 4 years at Stanford to explore new fields of knowledge and diverse experiences. You may not again have the unsurpassed intellectual resources and the community that this university will offer you. Stanford's rightly renowned for its computer science and other fields of engineering, and many of you will find your major there. But what you may not know is that it's also ranked #1 in the world in humanities and arts, by the London Times no less, with mind-bending courses like How to Look at Art and Why, or Literature on the Brain. Introductory seminars are an excellent way to venture into a new subject, perhaps in our new School of Sustainability or in the social sciences. And in those seminars, you can meet a professor in a small interactive setting. So take advantage of the unparalleled range of outstanding resources available here, whether it be in literature or in physics or perhaps in an initiative in artificial intelligence. My second piece of advice is to urge you to have the confidence in your own agency and potential. What you shared in your admissions materials about yourselves and how you've risen to the challenges gives us confidence that you belong here and can succeed. But it is essential that you take the initiative on your own behalf in seeking out the resources and support to make optimal use of what Stanford has to offer. Here's what I mean. Surveys of graduating students indicate that they find Stanford faculty to be among the most accessible among peer universities. But I know from my own experience that too often I sit in my office alone during office hours and no Johan comes in to visit me. So take advantage of the accessibility of the faculty. The university also provides a wide variety of support services. Don't be shy about approaching faculty and staff about your interests and concerns. They'll be happy to help. The importance of your own personal energy and focus was brought home to me by the most rewarding teaching experience I've had in my own career. 12 years ago, I worked with Janet Montag, a community leader, Stanford volunteer, and board member of the Asia Foundation, to organize a 1-month seminar on campus during the summer for 25 students from the brand new Asian University for Women in Bangladesh. These students came from modest families in countries across South Asia, including Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, and Vietnam. One of the principal goals of AUW was to instill confidence and a powerful sense of agency in these students, who came from societies that limited opportunities for women, sometimes severely. The topic of my seminar was one of my own research interests, the history of women and family in Europe. On the first day of class, I was explaining the syllabus. One of the students raised her hand and asked in a challenging but polite way, "Professor, why should we be interested in this subject?" I was taken aback by this unexpectedly direct question. I tried to offer a rationale that I suspect was unconvincing. But in the second week, we read Sophocles' great tragedy, the Antigone. The play put to rest their doubts about relevance because they had experienced the intensely painful dilemmas of duty to family and to personal goals that are represented in Sophocles' play. My takeaway was that great works of literature can resonate profoundly and in meaningful ways across cultures and the millennia. But the reason that I tell you about this experience is because 4 of those students transferred to Stanford the following year and then used the opportunity to launch truly amazing careers. One went on to a PhD in environmental science here, then a postdoctoral fellowship at Princeton, and next year she'll have a faculty position at the University of Chicago. Another has completed a PhD in clinical psychology and has been appointed as a postdoc in the Harvard Medical School. The third is a prize-winning poet with a doctorate in Persian literature from the University of Cambridge. And the fourth is a high-level analyst for the Australian government. It has been a joy to follow their careers. Their success is all the more amazing because some of these students came from societies where women are so controlled by men that they're not allowed out of their houses unless accompanied by a male guardian. The lesson from their stories is the critical importance of their personal motivation in pursuit of their own meaningful goals. The Asian University for Women instilled in them confidence in their own agency, and then Stanford provided the resources to use their extraordinary talents in pursuit of their own passions. I offer these stories as models for what you can do in your years here. You should pursue your own personal path to goals that you find rewarding. Don't let others define your hopes and dreams, and do expect setbacks along the way. Echoing Professor Church, I will confess that when I changed my own major from engineering to classics, my first essay came back with a D, which made me wonder whether I'd made a stupid mistake. Luckily, it didn't stop me. Up to this point, I've given you a couple of suggestions about how you might approach your time on campus, and now I want to make a few points about the ethos of the community that I want you to help nurture during your time here. Over the past century, the pursuit of knowledge and its dissemination has become an increasingly collaborative effort, as the body of knowledge has grown at a stunning rate. Not only in the natural sciences, but in the social sciences and even in the humanities, research now has become a team effort in which interdisciplinary subjects require different types of expertise and skills. Stanford will give you the opportunity to participate in these collaborations. Most students do. The success of these team efforts to advance knowledge absolutely requires integrity in the research and the academic freedom to debate different views. Stanford is, of course, situated in Silicon Valley and is strongly associated in the public's mind with Silicon Valley, for better and sometimes for worse. On the positive side, the ethos of innovation pervades the university. On the other side, a well-known cliche that caricatures Silicon Valley is fake it till you make it. That is not the standard of a great research university. You will be part of a collective effort to advance authentic knowledge that will stand the test of time. So whether working in a faculty laboratory or participating in a seminar or taking an exam, the integrity of every one of us is foundational to the university's academic mission. And yet, in all honesty, through the pursuit of authentic knowledge, our community will have deeply held disagreements. Disagreements that are likely to be intensely debated in the coming electoral year. The university as an institution will not take political positions, but individuals within the community can and should express their divergent views, articulated with reference to their own experiences and to the evidence. The value of having a diverse campus, and we are a very diverse campus, is the possibility of interacting with and learning from others with different backgrounds. The intensity of feelings that divergent viewpoints will elicit will make it all the more important that our interactions be respectful and constructive. Our upcoming opportunity to reinforce our commitment to civil discourse will be Democracy Day on November 7th, and I urge you to participate. Your Stanford experience will take you beyond the classroom and lab as part of a community that aims to make the world a better place for all to live. I need hardly tell you that Stanford is a privileged institution, which makes it all the more imperative that we use that privilege to be of service beyond the campus. Stanford students are extraordinarily generous in offering their time and talents. You will have many opportunities to join in. One avenue to do so is the Haas Center for Public Service, with its hundreds of opportunities to suit your own interests. Its Cardinal Quarter offers you the chance to participate in a full-time, quarter-long funded public service experience designed to integrate your academic learning with field-based experience in diverse subjects as broad as environmental justice, or education nonprofits, or the arts for social justice. These are opportunities to engage and learn beyond the campus with support from the university. Be on the lookout for opportunities that you find personally rewarding. And one final suggestion, and this is going to echo what's been said before. You, Stanford students, are energetic high achievers. Take time to develop routines and habits to take care of yourselves. Find time to expand your horizons, have some fun with friends, get in regular workouts, and get enough sleep. As a way to expand your horizons, I highly recommend one of the Bing Overseas Studies programs that Johan mentioned. I've taught in the history courses in Florence 4 times. The setting is Stanford's Breyer Center, which is housed in a spectacular Palazzo Capponi, finished in 1411 AD. It sits on the Arno River with a view of the famous Duomo and bell tower. Now, as an historian, I keep going back to Florence, but you could also study environmental science on the Great Barrier Reef in Queensland, Australia, or post-apartheid South Africa in Cape Town, or other topics in 8 other countries. With all that the campus has to offer, it's important that you show agency in attending to your own physical health and mental well-being. The university provides support through the Vaden Health Services, Student Affairs Office, Residence Hall staff, and more. But try to plan your day so that you don't overextend yourselves and are able to get sleep. It's important to your mental acuity and your emotional well-being. And I end with one final bit of personal advice. Wear a bicycle helmet as you speed around campus on a bicycle or motor scooter. I offer this advice as an avid cyclist who ended up in the emergency room of the hospital needing 6 stitches in my head for not wearing a helmet. Don't make my mistake. We take too many students each year to the ER with head trauma, and the circle out here, the circle of death, is a dangerous place. Your talents are just too valuable to take such risks. So let me end by repeating on behalf of the university my warm welcome. Provost Martinez and I look forward to meeting as many of you as possible in the coming year. You have an extraordinary opportunity in front of you. And so with that, it's my pleasure to introduce the student soloist, Alexander Baskini and Akshar Sarvesh.
where the rolling foothills rise up towards mountains higher, where at eve the coast range lies in the sunset fire, flushing deep and paling. Here we raise our voices, hailing thee, our alma mater. From the foothills to the bay, each shall ring as we sing, each shall ring and float away. Hail Stanford, hail, hail Stanford, hail.
As you journey, may you be guided with divine compassion. وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. And say, my divine teacher, increase me in knowledge. May the ideas that blow your mind and the experiences that break your heart grant you renewed strength. May they be the light for you along your path. God, grant us your love, the love of those that you love, and the love of everything that brings us closer to your love.
And so, as you begin, we send you into this year with a blessing. We invoke the sacred presence of this gathered community and the divine to send us forth with light, love, and hope for a new year, that you may live, love, and be well on the academic journey that stretches out before you, knowing that no matter what happens, you are enough.
And may you know.
And may you know that all you need is within you. May your learning be sweet, even when it's hard. May you be unafraid to fall. And may you, if you do stumble, rise again to face the challenge of the moment with heart and perseverance. Finally, may you be stirred to seek truth and dare to speak truth to power, always and in always. These blessings and prayers we ask in the name of all that is sacred and holy. Amen.
Amen.
Amin.
Amen.
And Ashe.
And Ashe.